Glitter's Dreadlands Journey, Chapter 20. Since after the battle with the Ifrit we weren't in much shape to fight the fire snake right away, we agreed on fighting it tomorrow. So instead of the fire snake, Pladane told us that he, Navara, Elias, and a tiefling named Vondal sealed the Nightbringer 25 years ago in the Underdark. The closest entrance to that is a dwarven city called Obsidian Mines. Everyone looked at me weird. No, I don't know any guy named Vondal. It's great that everyone around me knows someone from the original party, but that doesn't mean I have to know someone too. We slept at Mugu's place again. Jack tried to convince Mugu to take us on a skyship to that Underdark entrance once the fog around the city clears. But Mugu didn't really like flying. Since we bought all fireproof supplies for the battle with the genie, there wasn't much left in the shops, so I at least bought a water spell scroll. I also asked my friends if they wanted to help us. Zurak and Peivan agreed immediately. Gaia agreed after a bit of hesitation. Then we went to the wizard. We had only two options: teleport with the wizard and leave the city defenseless, or teleport without the wizard and try to take the snake ourselves. We chose the second option. The fire snake could control people, risking a wizard who could create a flying tower controlled by it was too much. But the teleport didn't go well. Somehow we got separated and me, Hildy and Gaia ended up at the mountain slope. We walked up a bit until we found a field full of red and orange crystals. Very big crystals. There were also patrols of Mephits flying around. We sneaked through them and found an entrance to a tunnel. After a few minutes of walking, we found a strange door on the side of that tunnel. Behind it was a small room where a rocky dwarf lived along with several of his mini rocky dwarflings. He didn't want us to go to the snake, he said it was too dangerous. He wasn't a threat to us, so we left him there and continued through the tunnel. Not far from that place was a cave full of sizzling eggs. At some point, we walked through a huge red crystal that also served as a window into a pool of lava where it looked like the fire snake was located. It was huge. And bound with huge chains. And it noticed Hildy. Soon after that we met Hans and he attacked us. He went full berserk and almost killed Hildy, but we defeated him and bound him to take him with us. After another few minutes we found the rocky dwarf again. He introduced himself as Varric and it turned out he could move that room of his through the mountain. He used a glowing crystal for that. He said there were other rocky dwarfs in the mountain who were fighting the snake and its minions, the lizard folk. He offered us help to find the rest of our group. He transported us to a prison where the only conscious person was a half-elf woman, Tiala, who said to be Hans' sister. She also recognizes Hildy, but Hildy didn't recognize her. Soon after us, the rest of our group arrived. Talas seemed upset. They tried to locate us with a magic, but the teleportation made it a bit difficult. We took the remaining prisoners who stayed unconscious, a dwarf, a human, a lizard folk and a shard mind, and asked Varric if he could teleport us near the entrance, the place where we met him for the first time. He agreed, although it got really crowded in the room. We took everyone outside and rested for a bit. Then we bound Hans, the lizard folk and the human with a rope. They all had the mark of the snake. We asked Tiala to keep an eye on them and went back to the mountain. We went to the cave with the sizzling eggs and tried to destroy some of them to lure the snake out. But soon we heard a patrol and Gaia, who was the only one to somehow understand them, translated for us. They said these eggs were thrown away and they were on the way to dump more. We killed the patrol and continued the way they came from. Matthias and Talas decided to ride in a minecart, so they waited for us to climb down. We got into another room full of eggs. These were of various sizes, from those that could be held in one hand up to 2 meters big ones with very hard shell. There was also a big hole in the floor leading to a cave below where were groups of lizardmen and some small fire snakes, much smaller than the one imprisoned in the lava. And it was very far down. Another lizardman patrol arrived. At first, Talas tried to trick them, but since we didn't understand them and they didn't understand us, we had to fight. Their leader wanted to turn and run, and as we shot him, he fell into his minecart and it started moving. We weren't able to stop it. Soon after that, one of the lizardmen from below floated up through the hole in the floor. There were 2 fiery eyes hovering around him. He said he wanted to negotiate, but his idea of negotiation was about us leaving the fire snake, whom he called Vinra, to do whatever it wants. We were against that idea, so we started fighting. At first, we tried to use the big axe as bombs and traps, but the biggest ones were too heavy for us and the smaller ones didn't work. So we went down, following the minecart with the dead lizard man. During the fight, the enslaved rocky dwarfs dug through the stone and brought the biggest axe down to a stone braziers. The fight was very tough. They had a fire giant teenager and few of those mini snakes, and Hildy almost died. But Zurak and Peivan were really good reinforcements, and Gaia killed some lizard men too. The axe on braziers cracked and spawned new eyes, and more eyes made even the existing ones stronger. But in the end, we defeated all of them. When the last eye died, the fire giant and the rocky dwarfs woke up from their mind control. The dwarfs left through the stone, and the fire giant, named Oska, went with us. We regrouped at the resting place where we left Tiala and the prisoners. They were still sleeping, so we woke them up. They were all hungry. The dwarf's name was Jurgun, and he was locked up because he was resistant to the snake's charm. The Shard Mind, Quor, was a priest of the Sun Shard and was kidnapped by the lizard folk. The human called Erki was originally from Arton, southernmost city in the Eurolian Empire, and was captured when his adventuring party was investigating these mountains. And finally the lizard folk, Visitra, who was originally a champion of Vinra, but he got replaced when he failed to protect Vinra's last avatar 2 years ago. Oska gave Matthias his fingernail for alchemy and left to find a giant tribe in the northern mountains in a place with 5 pillars. Quor also left, and we told the others that if they need work, there were some people in Barto looking for sailors. And we went to Barto! We immediately went to Folriel to inform him about killing the snake's eyes, and now that the snake is blind and can't influence anything, they could safely take care of the rest. Matthias asked them to delay the fog removal for a day or two until we're ready to leave. I asked about my stuff, and Lass said it could be reduced. Some of its properties would also be reduced though. I agreed and asked if I could spend few hours there to study some magic theory. I need to know what I'm doing. Also, how to stop glitch and that asshole.